Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about Power Automate OData Query. And what is Power Automate OData Query? So OData Query is what you can use in your Power Automate flow to filter the data that you are requesting from any data source like SharePoint. So let's take an example. Let's say you are trying to query data from a SharePoint list or library. And you don't want all the data from the SharePoint list. Instead, you just want some of the data based on your criteria. So what you will do, whether you will query entire data and then apply a condition? No, that's not the best practice. So instead, you can use these OData query filters when you are querying the data and get only the data that you need. So this is what we're going to learn in this video. We're going to look on different type of columns that SharePoint had, and what is different type of OData query filters that you can apply on these different type of columns. So let's start without wasting any more time. Hey everyone, I'm Deepak Srivastav. Welcome back to my channel. And if you are first time on this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also hit notification. So for today's video, I have created this SharePoint list that I'm going to use as data source for my Power Automate flow. And in this particular travel request list, I have all different type of columns. And I need to quickly show you, because that is the important point. We are trying to learn and understand how these different type of column you can use in Power Automate flow and apply the OData filter. So I have single line of text, date and time, person group, choice column, number column, currency, yes, no, all of different type of column that you can possibly use in your SharePoint. Okay, the first type of column that we're going to use today is single line of text. Now, you know, single line of text column is our title column or any column that you generally use to put any text. Because we are talking about the OData filter, so that means we're going to talk about the different type of operations that you can use. Now, filter can be, I need to see every data where something equals to something, or something is not equal to something, or something starts with, or contains, right? Or greater than, less than. These are the different type of filters that you can use in OData. So what are the different type of operator that you can use in single line of text? The first one is equals to. So you can compare a value and then pass that OData to your query, and then SharePoint is going to return you only the data that is fulfilling that particular condition. So test this scenario. We're going to jump to our Power Automate flow. We're going to create a flow and start applying these different type of OData filter and see how it works. So I logged into my Power Automate flow, as you can see, and I'm going to create a simple flow. The trigger can be different in your scenario. It can be automated, instant, scheduled. Okay, so this is the manually trigger flow, and as I said, your trigger can be different. The next step that I'm going to do, because we are trying to query the data and our data source is SharePoint, I'm going to search for SharePoint, and I'm going to search the action called get items, because this is the action that's going to give me, or that I can use to query data from a SharePoint list or library. There are different parameters that you need to select. You need to select the site address, from which site you want to query the data, and then also the list name. My list is travel request. Okay. Now, if you just look at this one, there is nowhere you can see the filter property, right, where you can apply the filter. So to see that, you need to click on this show advanced option. And once you click that, this is what you will see here, the filter query. Now, as I said, we're going to start by column. So first we're going to look how we can use this filter query to filter the data for a single line of text column. In my list, I have this strip title. It's a single line of text. Okay. So let's say I need to apply a filter here to filter only the data that I need based on my filter criteria. So to apply the filter query is pretty straightforward. First thing, you need to know the internal name of your column, which you are going to use for this filter query. Okay, so you need to make sure that you know the internal name of your column. Okay, my trip title column is actually, I renamed the title column. Okay, so this is my title column, and how I can check, I can go to the list settings and I can see here, or I can click into this particular column. In the URL, I can see the name of my column. As you can see here, right? This is the title. So you just need to make sure that you know the internal name, because that's what you need to use in here. So now I would say title. Okay, this is the syntax, so this is how you write the OData filter query. And then if you remember, our first is equal, so this is the EQ, that's the equal, so you need to say equals. For any of the text type column, you need to use the single quote. So single quotes. In between the single quotes, I can write my text that I'm trying to filter on. So title equal to the title name. And this is all you need to do. Column name, internal column name, operator equals to, and the text. I'm going to save it and run it. Okay, so flow completed successfully. And if I go to my get item, this is also completed successfully. Now, just to see the result, I'm going to add another action so we can easily read what we are getting. I'm going to add a compose action and then just the value. Okay, and this is the result of our get item. I can rerun it. Okay, and as you can see here, right, one result came back for the title that I have here. So that was the first very simple equals to, and you can apply this to any type of single line of text column. The next we're gonna see is not equal to. Okay, I'm going to edit this flow. The logic is very simple. Instead of EQ, you just need to replace this particular operator. So I will use NE, because NE is for not equals to, and I'm going to run the same flow again. This time it's going to give me all the results except that one that has this title. Okay, and as you can see here, this time I'm getting more and more results because I have multiple items matching the criteria that I have provided. Next, we will move to starts with. So it starts with is nothing but you are trying to say that you are not going to give the entire text of the matching column that you are trying to filter on. Instead, you are just saying that, okay, if anything starts with that particular text, give me that information. Okay, so to use the starts with, now you need to change the syntax a little bit. So you need to type the starts with, because that's the name of the operation. Okay, then you need to pass the name of the column, which column you wanna check this starts with, and then I'm gonna just type my text here. Okay, so you are saying it starts with the name of the column and what text it should be starting with. Same, I'm gonna save and run it. Okay, so flow completed successfully. It's gonna get some results, and if you see here, there is only one item that I got, because if you look at my list, the criteria that I provided only matching one. If I change this to just trip, then I will get more than one. So this is how you can filter, or you apply the filter checking this starts with. But it starts with only gonna check at the print, like at the beginning of your text column. Let's say you wanted to find anywhere in that column. So that's where you use the next operator, that is substring of. This is actually similar to contains. Okay, so for substring of, you need to start typing substring of. So substring of, and this time what you need to pass, you need to pass the text first and then the column name. So I'm gonna say this is my text that I'm trying to find into my column, that is title. Okay, so if I can find this bouquet in anywhere in my title, give me those results. Okay, this is how you can use this substring of or contains. Okay, so flow completed, and then this time it filtered for, and now I can use the substring of to find my given text anywhere in my text column that I'm providing. So these are the 4 operations that you can use on single line of text column. Now you can use the combination of these different type, and how you can do that, let me quickly show you that. So let's say you are applying this one and you also wanted to apply another operations. Okay, so if you wanted to have multiple operations, you need to separate them by bracket. So I'm going to close this entire operation into one bracket. Okay, And then what you can do here, if you want OR operations or AND operation, you can use either. So let's say I'm using OR, so I'm going to say OR. Okay, so I'm saying whether this condition where substring of OR. Okay, so now I have two conditions here. Where first one where I'm searching for a given text into a title, and second I'm saying title equals to, and I have the OR. So any of these conditions is going to true, I should get all the results. Now if you want to create more complex, you're going to keep combining or closing these into the different brackets. So for example, I want to make this as one condition and apply AND. What I will do, I will close this into the bracket and then have my AND operator here, right? So you can keep doing it and make it more complex as you want. Okay, here I'm going to keep it like this, test. Okay, so flow completed successfully and our both conditions should be true, and hopefully I should get two results this time. So yeah, so we get this one where this text exists, and we get another result where title equals to that, right? And if I change that OR to AND, I will not get any result because those conditions are not really matching. So this is the way you can have more complex conditions, and this is going to apply to any further operations that we're going to see in this video. If you want to have more complex, you just need to make sure that they are closing into the bracket, and then you are using OR or AND operator at the right place as you need. The next type of column we are going to see is the choice. Okay, the choice column is very similar to the single line of text column when it comes to the OData filter query. You can have all those similar operator like equals to, not equals to, like we have in our single line of text, starts with, and substring of. So these are the same operator that you have seen with single line of text can be used with the choice column as well. And we're going to quickly see. Nothing is going to change. The only thing that you need to change here, the name of the column. So now instead of title, because that was my single line of text, I'm going to use my choice column that I have here in my airline field. Okay, so this is the internal name, I know. So this time I'm saying airline equals to, let's say, Emirates. Okay, so now as you can see here, the OData query is pretty much standard. You are passing your name of your column equals to, and then what value you want to filter on. I'm going to test it quickly. And now I have all the data where airline equal to Emirates. The not equal to start with substring of, all going to remain the same as we have seen in our single line of text. No change. The only thing you need to make sure that you're using the right column. Now the next, we're going to see the type number. Okay, so the number type of column comes with more than what we have seen in the single line of text and the choice column. We can have the equals to, as we have seen in single line of text. We also have not equal to any, as we have seen in single line of text and the choice column also. But now we're going to add more different type of operations here. So you can also have less than. Then you can also have less than equals to. So less than is going to filter all the information, all the data where you will say, okay, show me everything where number column less than 100. Less than equals to is going to help you show me everything where number column is less than equal to 100. So it's going to include the 100 into that. Then we have the greater than and greater than equals to as well. Okay, so these are the type of operations or OData operations you can apply on a type number column. We're going to see one by one each of them and see how easily you can use it in your Power Automate flow. Okay, so as you can see in my list, estimated airfare, I kept it as number column. Okay, so I'm going to use this estimated airfare. Let me get the internal name. So this is my internal name for this column. Go back to the flow. Okay, estimated airfare equals to, because this is the number column, you don't need to use the single quotes. You can just type the number that you are trying to compare with. You may have noticed by now that this actual filter query, writing the query is pretty straightforward. You are typing your name equals to, and then I type the number that I want to compare it with. I'm going to run this one. flow completed, and I get that one record that has this 5218.28. So now I'm going to change this, and I'm going to say less than. Okay, and what I would say, the less than 4,000. Okay, so now what I'm saying, show me everything where estimated airfare is less than 4,000. Remember, I'm saying less than, not less than equals to. Okay, so we're going to run it, and flow completed, and I should get everything that is less than 4,000. Now let me quickly change this to less than equals to, that is LE. Okay, and this time I'm going to use this exact number, 349958. 3499.58. Because I'm using less than equals to, I should get this record and any record that is less than 3499.58. Perfect, right? So this is how you can apply it now with the number column. The other operator are also very similar. Greater than is going to give you anything that is greater than that number, and greater than equal to is going to give you everything that is that particular number and greater. Okay. The next we are going to see the currency column. The currency column is also very similar to the number column, and it's going to give you all those different parameters that you can use. So you can use the equals to, you can use not equal to, you can also use the less than equals to, greater than equals to. Okay, so these are the similar what you have with number, but with currency column you will also get few more. So now you can also have starts with and also the substring of. So the currency column is providing you the maximum number of operator that you can use. And if I go back to my list settings, I have estimated hotel cost is my currency column. Okay, so I'm gonna use my internal name equals, and then I'm going to type value. And remember one thing with the currency column you're gonna treat as a text column, so you have to apply the single quotes as I'm doing here. Okay, so test. Okay, flow completed successfully, and I should get that one result where the cost is $100.38. Okay, similarly these other type you can use, not equal to, less than, greater than. Okay, so I'm gonna try this time greater than. Okay, so what I'm saying that give me all the results of all the record where the estimated cost for the hotel is more than $1,000. Completed successfully, and now I should have all the record where the cost is more than $1,000. Awesome, right? So this way you can use any of these different type of operator. Similarly, if I go to the next set where we have two more, starts with and substring of, let's see how starts with work. Okay, so if you remember in our first example of single line of text, starts with, I need to start typing, then give the column name, and then you need to type the text or the value that you want it to be starting with. So I'm going to say 100, right? So anything 100, 1000, 10,000 should come because that's the starting point. Okay, so this completed successfully, and if you now look at the results, say 1075 because it start with 10, 1089, right? So this is how easy you can actually filter the data that you are having in SharePoint by applying these cool operator or operations using the OData query. Similarly, you can have the substring of, this is the contents, so it can just give you anywhere in that cost or the currency column if you want to compare anything. The next column is the date time. So with the date time column, you can have these different type of operations that you can apply. You can compare a date that is equal to, then not equal to. So if you say if date column is not equal to this particular date, then you can also have the less than, greater than. So if the date is before or after a particular date, you can compare that. Okay, we're going to take a quick example of few of them. Okay, so in here I have these two date column, start date and end date. I'm going to use the start date, and my internal name for this column is travel start date. Okay, come here, travel start date equals to, you need to use the single quotes, that's good. So if I'm going to say give me all the records where date is 10, now you can also do like this, right? So you can explicitly say the which month. So now it is saying 11th of October 2022. Okay, and I'm going to test this. Okay, and I got one record. And in most of the scenario, you may not be typing the date manually like I did. You may be getting the date from some other system or from some other SharePoint list. So in that case, you can use an expression, that is the format date time. And why you need to do that? Because you don't know the date that you are receiving from other system is rightly formatted or not. So use that. That will help you. And what you can do is very simple. Format date and time, that's the name of the function, and use the date that you are getting. So for example, I'm going to use the UTC now. For example, UTC now is a function that's going to give me the current date and time, and then you need to apply your formatting. So in our case, you can apply, so I'm going to use UTC now. That's going to give me the today's date and time, and I'm going to format it in this way. So month, date, and year, and I'm going to change my filter query here, and instead of using this, I will use the output of my compose to. Okay, click test. Okay, and I got that one record that is starting today. And other than equals to, of course, you can use the less than, greater than, all of these different operator as we were using previously. So instead of that, I can say show me everything that is less than today, right? Output that I've already formatted, so I'm going to use that. And this will bring me practically everything because my every start date is previous of today. So it's going to bring entire set. Okay. So this was the date and time. The next we are going to use the lookup column. So we generally create lookup column when we want to create a relationship between two lists, right? So we say, okay, this particular column is going to looking up to the information that is in my other list. So for lookup column, you have equals to, so you can compare the value. You have not equal to, and these are only two options you have for the lookup. So with lookup column, you can only compare whether it is equal to or not equal to. In my list, I have created a lookup column called request reference. Internal name is different though, and I'll show you that. So the internal name is test lookup. Okay, this is a good example. I want to show you that what you are seeing on the display may not necessarily the right name that you should be using in your flow. I'll go back to my flow, the internal name, and as you know, only two options I have, equals to and not equal to. So you see here saying request to and request one. This is another list that I have where I have these different information. Before we go further, let me show you the setup of this lookup column because that is very important for you to know. So if I go to my lookup column, right now if you see, I am looking up into this list. So that's it. That is my parent list. And then in the title column. Now you may create a lookup column where you are looking into some other column that that list has. Remember that because that is going to be very important because that the information you see here, because I'm looking up to title, so I'm seeing the title of that parent list listed here. If you're looking up to any other column, that will show up. Okay, so I'm going to say test lookup equal to req2. Will this gonna work? No, it will not. And the reason, because this is a lookup column, so you can't just compare the column directly. Instead, you need to tell which column you are comparing that you're looking into that parent list. Okay, so to make it work, you need to change this query and actually slash and the name of the column that you are looking into. Okay, so the name of your column in your list slash and the name of the parent column that you are looking into this lookup column. Now if I test it, okay, so flow completed successfully and I should have all the record where I have this request to as a lookup, right? So this is how you can use the filter OData filter for the column type lookup. Okay, the next type that we are going to see is yes no checkbox column. Okay, with yes no checkbox column you have following options. You can still use equals and you can use not equal. So what you can check with yes no, whether it is yes or it is no. It's very simple, straightforward. Let's see a quick example. In my list, I have a column called approved. This is type yes no checkbox. If you look here, the name of the column is also approved. The logic is very straightforward, simple, as you know. Use the column internal name equals to, here it's not yes, no, it's actually 0 and 1. So if you say 0, that means false or no, and if you say 1, that means yes. So I'm going to quickly test this scenario. Okay, so now this has listed all the record where it is false or no or 0. And if I change it to 1, then it's gonna show me everything that is true or yes. Okay, now let's move to the next type of column, that is person or group. So the user field, right? And with user field, you have equals and you have not equals. So these are the two options you have with any of the person fields that you are using in your SharePoint list. Okay, so let me go back to my SharePoint list, and I have this requester column here. That is the person type. Internal name is also requester. Now this is a little tricky. So what you need to do here, so you need to type the name of the column, internal name, then you need to type the slash, and then if you are comparing email, then you need to type the email, like the lookup column that you had, similar to that, right? And then you can type email that you want. Okay, so I'm gonna compare this particular email here for that user, single quote, in the type email. Click test. Okay, so flow completed, and now I should get the record where the requester email is matching what I have passed. There are 2-3 records for this particular user. Okay, yeah, so this is all the different type of column that we have covered today. Different type of operators that you have in OData query for these columns when you are working with the SharePoint as a data source and you want to filter the data before you even start using in your Power Automate flow. I hope this will help you, and I would highly recommend that you should use the filter query. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep watching. Thank you very much.